I love you guys so much, but you're all doing it wrong. Please, these messages you're writing, whether jokingly or serious, you gotta write them in the Discord so I can look at them later and give you the sub from there. But okay, it's game number 1 in this best of 5. Foreigner versus Korean action continues here in the Ting round of 16. To the top left of the map, we got the red Protoss Hurricane.
In the bottom right, as the orange Zerg, is Denver.
So, again, we'll try and get Denver to sort his name in hotkeys after this. So may or may not have some time with commercials. But I'm rooting for Denver pretty hard here. Nothing against Hurricane. I actually, frankly, expect Hurricane to win. So, going for the underdog appeal. Plus, Denver has just... I think Denver and Clem have really caught our eyes over the last few months. I'm excited to see whether they can keep up that momentum with the new patch, with 4.0 being what it is.
It's gonna benefit some people and worsen others. It's always been the case with anything extreme, like expansions and new patches, regardless of the actual balance of the game too. Like some people just take it like fish to water, but others just like really hate it.
Yeah, and of course we'll see this taper out more as months come on. People like Innovation might not be so quick to adapt to Raven play, if you guys saw that clip, but he will eventually after enough time. So it's gonna look wonky for a while. Also, just to further clarify, it's not that I don't want you guys introducing yourselves or talking about yourselves in chat. Please, by all means, do that. But I'm saying, if you want a sub gifted to you, if you want a chance to win a sub from BaseTradeTV, you gotta write it in the Discord channel. I want to make this a useful thing. I want to make this something that we can look at. You know, maybe we're offline for a couple days and we come back and 3 people have written sub gifting requests. Something I can happily do in the next stream type thing. So please, guys, do us a favor. Use the Discord link. Right in there if you'd like a gift, and hopefully we can get you one. Like I said, I want to do at least 3 or 4 before the end of stream today.
Yeah, it's cool. Cool new feature. So, very typical openers here. Usually Stargate for Hurricane, of course with Blink Stalkers being the upgrade of the patch. Everyone's looking at them. It can be easy to forget about the old standard openers and follow-ups, but as far as PvZ is concerned, the standard is still pretty good. Adepts running in. Adepts weren't touched. It's just that Stalkers seem so bright, shiny, and new and good that they are the preference.
They're the belle of the ball.
Yeah, and combination with the Oracles is still really good.
I guess we should explain briefly here why we're talking about it, because we will see Stalkers at some point in this game. The Stalker damage was tweaked to do more damage, but with a much longer cooldown. So I can't remember what the new numbers are off the top of my head. I think it's like 15 and 21 or something. Like 15 base, 21 versus armored, and like a 1.5 second cooldown or such. They're just really good at hit and run mechanics now, like better than they were before.
Stalkers?
Stalkers, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a new micro to get used to if those have microed Stalkers before, as the attack delay is longer, but they do a lot more damage. Links. Oh, well, go ahead.
I was gonna mention here's another new change to the patch: shield battery. Not battery shield, shield battery. If this thing completes, units are basically unkillable while it has energy, but it doesn't deal any damage or anything, so it's gonna need a little bit more than just a sentry.
Desires additional wall. Interesting. Following up with Phoenix. Actually, didn't make a single Oracle at all. Just the Phoenix opener. Adepts still kind of patrolling around. I'm surprised they haven't been killed yet. I'm not sure how they haven't been killed yet. There's enough links to kill them. Here they go.
No, finding little corners and running away. Actually, canceling that might be the better option. I see he's in a pretty nice spot, but goes through with it. Phoenix is gonna get an Overlord kill. That's not gonna be too bad. But yeah, these Adepts are gonna rest in pepperonis. Jansoon saying we need to get some more emotes on our Discord. I'll look into it. We just got the Discord partnered like literally 2 days ago, so I'm looking to actually start using it more and sprucing it up. Also, Black Spade Kemui, thank you very much for the 100 bits. Good morning, right back at ya.
Yeah. So interesting. I wonder what Hurricane's plan was. I mean, he'd opened up Stargate and then went into a Robo, not like a fast third base, and didn't even get an Oracle. A Robotics Bay, and then a lot more gateways. Going for an Immortal Colossus builds? I can't see that being an all-in just because Stand Thermal Lance going to take a long time to build.
But it's also
it is
less
cheaper
necessary.
now. That's a fair point. But if you're going to get it, I figured you want to wait for it. I don't know. I haven't seen this opener yet. Yeah, it's expected that the third base will come down still.
You see some really good harass of the Phoenix, even just picking off Overlords. It's so really annoying to lose 5 Overlords this early. So some pretty good damage. Well, we're talking about the Colossus, though, just so you guys know. Its values have also been tweaked slightly. It's really not hugely game-breaking, not from what we've seen yet, but Colossus have 7 range to start. Their damage, as you can see here, was also adjusted ever so slightly. Then this is where the extended thermal lance ends up being kind of nice. So it's like the same overall endgame.
Yeah, same overall length, cheaper upgrade, more damage from the Colossus. There's a ton of tiny changes to it, trying to make it a more viable units. You know, everyone was preferring not going for Robos, like no Disruptors, no Colossus. It was a lot of Immortals, and overwhelming Lings and Banelings were a problem. So that is still the ideal scenario for the Zerg players, it seems, is to get to Ling, Baneling, Hydra. But now that splash damage has kind of come back, you know, and Sentry's also making a comeback. I wonder if that's going to be, once again, forgotten to Roach Ravager all-ins, because that's kind of the two dynamics that keep countering off of each other, developing as metas go. But Hurricane didn't actually get a third base. I guess that probe was a fake, and is just going for the attack. War Prism is here, and Reinforcements, unfortunately, first is made back at home, but going for it.
Yeah, man. Denver has lost 7 Overlords now. I mean, that's just 700 minerals outside of the actual supply costs and the map vision and all the other many things you lose by losing those Overlords. But Hydra's gonna have the upgrades finish up in a second. I can't say that this looks like a good fight. Not yet, at least. A few more Hydras and maybe it does, but so many Sentries are gonna cause those force fields. There's no Ravagers to break them. This isn't gonna be a concave for Denver the way he wants it to be.
Yeah. 2 base all in. This really is like Wings of Liberty. Force fields. Are there enough of them? He did get himself into like the best concave possible for Denver.
Bailey's also walked right underneath the Colossus. I love the control to not go off on the Colossus and find the sentries. So there's actually not that many force fields to follow up with. I'm not sure Denver's gonna take this fight, but this goes way better for him than expected.
Right? That's exactly what I would say. It goes better than expected, but he's still on units that just don't do well against these anti-light units. I mean, the force fields are good, and the Colossus still got a couple of shots off, leaving a lot of the gateway units alive. But these gateway units do not have any upgrades. They're not +1. They don't have blink. They are just bare bones and trying to bully their way through here.
Oh man, if Denver had like a good 30 more seconds, this could have been a very different fight. This got very close for him. He's actually gonna get the Colossus with the drones.
He might be able to win anyways. There's no War Prism, and more Hydras are on the way. He hasn't lost that many drones, and he has 4 bases.
They're trickling in. This is a bit of a scary point, but you're right. Hurricane's got that War Prism coming out now. Is it too late, though? He's got no third base and no prospects. If Denver can consolidate, he doesn't overextend here, for example. He's trying to pick up a couple more Stalkers. Actually, not too bad for these Hydras.
No, not too bad. The upgrades are done for them, so take advantage of their range, I suppose. Bailing speed isn't done, and it won't even be started here, but it is more about Lings and Hydras, I would say. Yeah,
this isn't charge lots. Banelings are not necessary like they normally would be. In fact, all these Zerglings are going to be huge and very nice to have. No more sentries. The Colossus are gone, so no worry about that. Hydras have got the damage. Lings just have to block for them.
Yeah, he's just a little bit worried, I think, of the Adepts. There are more being made, but without the War Prism, it's going to be difficult. And they're the Banelings who finish for the reinforcing Adepts. This should be game over for Hurricane.
Wow, Denver, really good hold here.
Whew. But it really does go back to the very first attack. That Hurricane, he got into like one of the worst positions possible of any of the positions he could have chosen. The biggest concave was given to Denver, and the Banelings were allowed through the force fields because they're just, well, they weren't fast enough, first of all, and then there weren't that many.
Love the choice of Spire.
Yeah, that's the safest way to play, I suppose, but still have to be worried. Don't invest everything into it.
I still cannot believe those Banelings. There's like 2 of them too. They walked into the Colossus legs. The control out of Denver was so good with that. To pick off those sentries, to give them a fighting chance. I mean, there's a lot of mistakes out of Hurricane, but it's also cool moves made out of Denver, too. Either way, GG, and the long neck takes game number 1.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm now connecting the dots here because Denver, the last dinosaur, is a... Okay, god damn it.
I thought you did, you just weren't impressed, so I didn't bother to elaborate.
No, I thought he just picked like a stupid... I like dinosaur! Like, I didn't connect that Denver is the dinosaur and just...
You should tell him. He was really sad he didn't like it.
Well, it's not that I didn't like it. It's like, even if I did, I'm like, yo, it's still a tournament, man. Use your name. It's in the rules for our tournament. It's like, you have to use your name. But, man, we got a little bit of a mini sub-train going on here. So we get the next map up. Thank you very much. Going all the way back to Keymeg 12 for the 22 months. Then Eclusives came back for 2 months in a row to say the stream needs more lame puns, Rifkin. Well, you're going to have to wait 7 days. 7 days without puns makes 1 week. Lumberjack, thank you for the 11 months. Bro Thorley came back for 22 months as well with a heart. And then Ever Sickum just hit us up with a Prime sub. And Sergus Save came back for 2 months as well. Thank you guys, whether you're subbing out of the good kindness of your pocket or whether it's that Twitch Prime freebie bump. Do know that we really appreciate it. Thank you for the support. Also, I see people have started writing in the sub gifting room. That's good to see. I like some of these. I watch BaseTradeTV weekly. I'd love to get those juicy emotes, but I get lots of money. BaseTradeTV is going to get a lot of juicy donates. Oh, am I getting bribed in advance? CG Ruff, I love your commitment to the StarCraft community. I've been watching for many years. I will continue to watch. See, these are exactly. Use this room. Write those little messages. I'm going to pick subs to gift from that room. And then last but not least, B-Roop, thank you for the Prime sub also coming in. But guys, we got to get under the sea. It's Abyssal Reef. And one of the last few intros we have locked and loaded. Thank you for those bits. Shout you in a second. See you guys in game. So folks not knowing the Denver reference, so there's an old cartoon from the 90s. Like, this is like Captain Planet era of TV shows called Denver the Last Dinosaur. I would recommend looking up the intro because the intro is bumping. All right, Denver the Last Dinosaur is so catchy. But also, thank you for the 100 bits. Before we hop into the intro, it was from Backstabber, appropriately using the knife. Thank you. He says, wait, we can bribe people here? I'm not going to say no, but I also won't confirm that we accept bribes. Because that's a joke, and we definitely do not. It's game number 2 of this best of 5, and it's actually Foreigner up 1-0 after a great defense of that first game. To the top left, we have the orange Zerg player, Denver.
In the bottom right, as the red Protoss, he is now Hurricane on the west server.
Nice. So yeah, as mentioned, we're going to be bouncing back and forth. Neither player is going to particularly love the server we pick, but it is slightly favoring the loser when we do get that choice. So West Coast for Koreans, East Coast for the Europeans, or in some cases, if they're willing, the Central server.
Yeah, that's the answer. But Hurricane goes to the 2-base Colossus all-in, which is... So, the 2-base all-ins are pretty easy to scout nowadays. Maybe in Wings of Liberty, they were a little more difficult because a lot of, builds were still 2 bases. Protoss took a long time to eventually get their 3rd base. And hell, even if that 3rd base doesn't come down for a long time, if Denver sees that it's Colossus, he might also be thinking back to those days. Actually, I don't know if Denver did play Wings of Liberty or not, but I'm going to assume so for a second here. That was a long time ago, and he's a relatively new player on the scene. But anyways, maybe in your mind you're like, well, Colossus take a long time to expand. Maybe he's not going to all-in me. But eventually that back of 3rd base just gets more and more suspicious. And I believe Denver got another Ling over there to see that the Nexus still wasn't down.
Let me just actually confirm. So real quick, I was going to mention, thank Jumper Legs for the resub 22 months. Hello, Reference Zombie. I'm enjoying the stream. Just woke up. Well, good morning to you too. But the topic you brought up just now of did he play Wings of Liberty or not type thing. It's interesting. We've had this discussion a couple times where there's not really any good players I can think of that didn't play this game for years prior to people finally noticing them, Senpai. And I would actually, I'm kind of hoping like a little bit of this with free to play. You get somebody who's come in, they've never played, they don't know the OP eras of things, they just jam with the game and thus become like semi-pro. But I gotta imagine Denver was at least playing the game casually back then, even if it wasn't like the esports ready level of play.
Yeah, that's why I'm just guessing. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised either if he did just start with Heart of the Swarm. Who knows? I have to ask him. But it's going to be definitely more Legacy of the Void here with a Resident Glaives Adept opener. Last game was so, like, the Phoenixes, no Oracle. Like, it just felt very, very old school, except that there were Adepts added in, not Zealots. But Colossus Phoenix, yeah, 2 base all in. Yeah, that really goes back a ways. But Resident Glaive Adept attack into a 3rd base is also, I still would say, like, old, but, you know, Legacy of the Void old, which is not that old. Like a year, I suppose. The preference, you know, Stargate openers, no fast 3rd bases, or War Prism play, Archons, like that type of stuff. If you commit with Resident Glaives, it can be very dangerous for a counterattack.
So someone who, by the way, absolutely right on all those points. So I was just going to follow up on the last point a little bit here. Someone who also wasn't really esports ready when Wings of Liberty was at its peak. Like I was playing like arcade games in the campaign, right? I had no idea what Broodlord Infestor was when it was a thing. And I know that that's a comment that people have been concerned about with the matchup. And I see a lot of tweets about it, and a lot of comments on how it's OP through the balance test mod in the months leading up to this. But we've cast a good chunk of PvZs at this point. Still haven't seen it a single time.
One day. Roaches are very stable early game units. Sturdy, but without that Roach speed, difficult to catch the Resident Glaives.
A lot of scouting going on for Denver right now, by the way.
Makes sense.
He's not going to see the pylon, but he'll see the warp in over here. Overlord in the main does die, but got good scouting on what was in the back. And the Ling ran into the 3rd to confirm that, and even picks up a probe kill. Aw, that's kind of nice. But we got an attack of the Adepts out here. A side attack looking for some quick drone pickoffs, and they'll get them. Only 3 drones are here, though.
Love the wall at the front. That is going to be a little annoying for Denver as the game goes on, perhaps, but for purposes right now, it's very useful. They said without that Roach speed, without Lings to help kind of just stop the Adepts, this attack could do a lot of drone damage, but it also could have lost all the Adepts for Hurricane, and he'd have nothing to defend with. So he does just pull back most of them, but it's going to be a big Roach Ravager swell, and he doesn't have a lot of anti-Roach units.
Yeah, first off, I love the defense there. This was something where even just 5 Adepts, much less those 2 plus the 7, could have gotten out of hand. The double Evo chambers, essential to this game not being already over. The downside is, though, he did actually find the pylon, so he's sending a couple Roaches on here to deal with that. So if he cuts out warping potential, then he can just focus purely on the attack. And frankly, while there's shield batteries coming down now, there's not that many actually up. In fact, none over here either. So Corrosive Biles, Roach auto attacks, you name it, they're going to kill things. So there's no shield battery to make to say otherwise.
Denver's not waiting for Ravagers. He's just trying to bust in here.
Oh my god, depowered 3 of the gateways.
Force field's going to be very scary in this position. He has to run. All right, doesn't go up the ramp though, so still in a very force field position.
Around to the force fields.
A little bit.
He really wanted to focus down the sentries, and I think that was a good move if he had been able to pull it off. But being down 3 gateways worth of production, we're going to see Hurricane maybe die here with a bank going at this rate. I'm worried for him. Probes are getting pulled away into this, but there's not really anywhere they can run to.
I'd really like if Denver added a lot more Lings, though. He is just reinforcing with Roaches, which they do have speed. They're not the slowest thing in the world, but they're kind of the easiest thing. They don't complicate things like Lings do, but now getting a bit of a surround.
Oh, he's got the backside too. The sentry's starting to go down. He can walk away from the natural base and go to the 3rd. He realizes this. There's only a couple shield batteries here.
Shield batteries were, I mean, they obviously thought that this attack was going to hit the 3rd base. It was going to hit anything at all. The natural was a very dangerous decision, you know, the chokes that are provided there, but it ends up going really well for Denver.
Ends up killing the Immortal and what should be both of the sentries. Roaches is coming back in for round 2 here. And some nice one-shots in a lot of these units. Stalker getting very low before it blinks away.
This definitely feels like game over. So much, just the amount of damage has been done. The army has been traded. Probes have died. But maybe Hurricane can hold on. Denver is not on the biggest economy, only on 3 bases. Just getting like 12 more drones.
Well, my fear for this is like, okay, he actually did some pretty good worker damage, and he traded out decently army for army as well. But it is a Roach army. This is the definition of inflation when it comes to that supply count. Like, yeah, he had a pretty good supply going for him, and now it's even up. And I wouldn't say even supply is even supply in this case. This is like Immortals are going to destroy Roaches.
Well, that is why Denver did slap down on Hydralisk Den even before he made a bunch of drones, realizing he needs something little different at the very least to help take out an anti-Roach force. The Hydra DPS, the fact that they have that range, does usually compensate quite well if you have the numbers, which Denver should. Hurricane really needs to restart almost from zero with, rebuilding some very heavy gas units and not getting his third base gases. It's going to be a little difficult. And now he's even just got one sniped.
Dives in that sentry pretty quickly. Roaches on the backside also not going to get the probe kills they want. I mean, Hurricane's did a pretty good job deflecting now, but the first 3 or 4 fights really weren't the case. My resources lost reflecting that, but here's the units lost too, just to give you guys a bit of a recap. 39 Roaches dead. Not so great, but Hydra's finally coming out, so it's not Ravagers, but with Hydra's assistance here, this should be a little bit better for Denver to start taking these fights.
Yeah. Shield batteries have been lost. This one's pretty low in energy. Denver might, at one point, like he's sending a lot of very small groups of units over here. I think he's really over-dedicating with this one. And that's where
Agreed.
Perhaps Hurricane finds his moment to strike, is killing 20 armies worth of supply and then, counterattacking immediately while Denver's still trying to gather everything together.
I do like that Denver's gone for ranged weapon upgrades, though. Too often we'll see his composition actually involve melee, because there's a lot more emphasis on the Lings and Banelings, but in this case it's Roaches and Hydras, so this will work out pretty well for him. Spire's also coming up backside of this too.
Spire's gonna be able to take care of that War Prism, which just unloaded a couple of Adepts in the main and third base. At least something is going here for Hurricane. If Denver doesn't respond correctly, he could lose a lot of drones, but just a couple of Lings deals with it.
Yeah, the transfers and the pickup could be very annoying, but he's not too worried about that. He was going for an attack on the other side of the map, but those force fields possibly choking off the ramp, making this way too dangerous. He has to withdraw. Looks like he is dealing with this, but my concern is that that worker loss here is starting to really count, because he's not making more drones to replace the ones he's losing, but instead more Zerglings. It's comboed with this attack that makes me really worried. This attack is going okay, grabbing a couple of the sentries, popping the immortal shields. It's like okay to start, but this is such an expensive dedication of Hydras. Blink-in, though, was way too aggressive against these Hydras. Lings pounce on top of the Stalkers, losing a lot of that army. Colossus so close to popping out. Colossus, of course, the bonus damage versus Light could help clean this up. 3 Immortals going to be the only Vanguard for it, however. And Lings are going to town on that mineral line. Yeah, I think that blink forward was too aggressive. Buying time to Colossus was going to be really key in that fight, and he didn't do that. So one Colossus goes down. So the other one could be microed forever, I suppose. High ground, low ground, but he's going to lose the third base, and thus the game. He's killing a lot of probes, making up for those drone losses. Link's also running into the natural base now. Everything's still focused here at the third Colossus, and that War Person will do what it can, but GG's get called, and our foreigner goes up 2-0 versus Hurricane. This is some good stuff. All right, well, guys, we're going to go to our scheduled commercial break here. When we come back, we'll get to Game 3. It is very cool to see Denver doing well versus Hurricane, because Hurricane has been kicking ass and taking names in the Alima League, in the BTSL. Back on Korea against other Koreans, Hurricane has been killing it. But here, he's getting killed. However, before we go to break, I'm also going to remind you guys, the last 3 games we cast of Hurricane was him going down like 0-2 in a series to come back and win it 3-2 as well. So don't count him out just yet. Either way, we'll see you guys here in a couple of minutes. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, we're back. You may abruptly see me leave at some point. I've actually got my door cracked just like a sliver because it's so warm in here, but it's Hey guys, we're back. You may abruptly see me echo. Yeah, it's getting really stormy outside, like to the point where I'm like getting worried that like it's getting too stormy outside, but we'll cross my fingers and hope nothing bad happens. Also, I did pick one of the people from the Discord chat to gift a sub to just now, so Philly Cheese. He writes, "Hi, my tag is Philly Cheese, and it's been great to see you guys grow from the small events that you used to put on. We'll continue watching you guys, and hopefully as a sub. P.S. I'm a poor college student. Enough said." Well, dude, thank you for watching all of our events, and enjoy your sub. I'm looking to do more of these gifted subs as the stream goes on, so again, ! sub gift in chat, guys. Take a look. Please write in the Discord. I'm going to pick a couple names from there. I won't be picking any from chat, strictly from the Discord. But it is game number 3 and possibly the last one in the series. He's put his opponent on match point in the top left. Ladies and gentlemen, the French, the foreign, the orange, Denver. In the bottom right, as the red Protoss, he is Hurricane. Hurricane, again, mentioned it before the break, somebody who's good at bouncing back from being on the brink of defeats. Also, aside from my gifted sub, also going to quickly shout out to Elfex77_77 for rocking that Prime sub. Thank you kindly for that. And of course, going to take that moment to remind you all to check for your Prime subs once every 30 days. They are available. They do not automatically renew, so whether you're subscribing to us or whether you're subscribing to somebody else, make sure you're always checking for that Prime sub once a month. And of course, I know we'd really appreciate it if you consider subbing to us. JPP Oliveira also came back for 44... What? 44 months! 4 months till I hit 4 years. Oh my god. Ooh, that's a big number.
Long time.
Long time indeed. Also, guys, do us a favor, hit the follow button if you haven't. If you're coming at us from the front page for the first time ever and you said, you know what, gosh darn it, I think I like StarCraft. Well, we put it on almost every single day, and if you look at our events tab here on the channel, BaseTradeTV/events, we actually have our full list of what's going on, when it's going on, so make sure you don't miss out on any of the action. Hit the follow button.
Cool. So Denver finds himself up 2-0 against Hurricane. Hurricane just not looking very strong in this matchup. Trying a bit of a wonky build in the first game, but one that clearly I think would abuse the patch. Or, I don't really call Colossus abusive, but he wants to use them because of the new patch. I'm almost sure about that.
It's also surprising to me, too, because I don't feel like Denver hasn't reinvented the matchup. These aren't like some crazy timings. I guess the key difference would be like there's no mothership core for defending, but even then, like, that's where shield batteries can be just as good, if not better. Also, thank you, WolfHunt94. He does rock that Prime sub to come join us on the channel. Welcome to the Base Trade Brigade. Also, reminding everybody, you're new to the patch, you don't know how to play, you're like, what do I do? Well, if you're a subscriber to the channel, we got you, because we send replay packs from all the pros that we cast to our subscribers. Some limited exceptions like the Elima League, but yeah, like today's matches, for example, will be sent out to all of our subs after the stream is done.
Don't know about stealing Hurricane's builds. The last one actually wasn't that bad, it just didn't work.
Well, maybe you're Zerg and you want to steal Denver's builds.
Yeah. Stealing Zerg builds is so hard, man. It's reactive. But yeah, I mean, obviously Denver went for that roach as well.
We're actually witnessing one of the goofy parts of the map here. I say goofy, it's gimmicky. It's limited to this map only, and it's these weird little purple force field boxes. So, to give you guys an idea, like, an Ultras cannot walk through these boxes, but a Colossus can walk over them. There's weird limitations on, like, what can and can't pass through them, and as we're witnessing, units have to filter through. It creates some kind of on-the-go Sim City, and I feel like a couple of force fields around those areas could be incredibly abusive if done correctly.
I haven't seen that affect too many engagements, but rallying does take a little while longer, so with slow units from Protoss, for instance, it can be very annoying. Stasis Trap is going to be used, this wasn't changed. Doesn't grab too much.
Still good at being very annoying, though. Phoenix's last game, reminding everybody, did pick up a significant amount of Overlord kills. I would like to see him go for these Phoenix again. I think that they did a really good job, because it stripped away map control, but it was Hurricane's bad decision-making in one fight that cost him the game, not the Phoenix's, and I fear that he might not realize that.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment. It really was that bad positioning he pushed himself into and made it so difficult, and then late force fields, you know? Like, I think he actually barely had enough, but they were pretty late, and they had a couple of gaps. Third base goes down.
Thank you for the bits, Theris, by the way, now becoming the new bit boss. There are some cool commands you can do, by the way. If you type !boss tax, for example, you'll tax everybody 5 Makarovs. You can also gift them to people as well, and other cool things. But the most important thing you should do is boss glory to get that once an hour rare item.
Wow.
That was a cool move, actually. I've not seen anyone do that before.
Yeah, that requires some pretty nice timing, but he definitely got it. There are Ling Queen drops on the way. Yeah, so a big attack coming here from Denver with +1 melee. Hurricane, did he notice that was an awful lot of Lings? Like a little bit too many just for something that would run around the map. If he noticed, I don't know if he's really prepping anything more. I feel like he should be. Okay, there we go. At least another shield battery comes down.
So many sentries. I mean, on one hand, sentries are great. On the other hand, it's queen drops that can actually reach over the force field, something you normally don't have the option to do.
It's got to drop the queens. That shield battery is really going to help out. The second shield battery is really going to help out. Trying to drop on top of the sentries.
I love this.
Well,
adapting to the situation at hand with the tools he has. Forces out all those force fields. The battery's also pretty much dry. These sentries are refusing to die, but nothing's really being done. Like, the queens aren't taking damage. Like, 1 or 2 transfuses fixes this. New queens arrive at the front line. A couple zealots come in. I guess most of the zerglings have been killed, and that's nice to see.
Yeah, that's actually really important, right? Like, these sentries somehow are alive, even with lings dropping on top of them. Denver might have been better off trying a different approach, maybe into the main base, force the sentries to come to him.
Oh no, not that Overlord. Oh, no.
I think Denver just lost this game.
Yeah, I agree. This one, Hurricane's got that 2-0-0-2 magic, but that being said, I don't think I dislike the attack, but what we got to see was really the power of the shield batteries here. Those sentries would have died in almost every other circumstance of the game.
Yeah, you're probably right. I feel like a lot of that was honestly just sentries in SimCity, though. Even after they had gotten on top of by the initial lings, the force field still did a good enough job. And now a third shield battery's there, so he's going to tap out.
All right, we're going to get our first game for the day as Hurricane fights back a little bit, but this also is going to give a little bit of favoritism to Denver as we'll go to the East Coast server, and that might just favor him a little bit. Also, I should mention, I put up a poll. I'm actually going to show this really quick, guys. Where's display capture? Look at this. You're going to get to see my awful casting setup on my second monitor. Don't make fun of me. But we put up a tweet. I'm working on a $10,000 tournament. This has nothing to do with Ting, and I can't name the sponsor who's sponsoring it yet. But $10,000 tournament coming down for early 2018. I'm leaning more towards February, but we'll see as time goes on. Anyways, I said if this tweet gets 300 retweets first, we'll make it a solo league. So think like GSL. Or if it makes 300 likes first, we'll make it like Team League. So think like Pro League type thing. Got some teams of 3. And we're actually getting very close to the likes. So if you guys are somebody who are like team retweet here, you got to get on it before it's too late. But right now, we are closing in on 25, 26 likes away from locking it into being a custom team league, which could be really cool and really fun.
Ooh, that's a lot of work.
It's a lot of money also. But hey, we're going to Blackpink for game number 4. I know we're getting some front page promotion and hype, and someone just bought a MeUndies gift card. Shout out to that person. I didn't read that in time because I'm awful. But sincerely, Sleepy hit us up with a Prime sub. I'm sorry I missed that when it happened, but thank you very much for that. I got some people also writing in chat asking for sub gifting. Dudes, you can try to appeal to other people in chat, but I'm telling you, if you want a sub gift from BaseTradeTV, the best way to do it is get on the Discord and write it there. We got about 5 or 6, a handful of people, and these are messages that I'll be looking at, if not this cast, then the next cast, and the further cast. Like, writing it over there is the best way to cement it. This sub-gifting is a lot of fun, cool, and hopefully other people here who are feeling generous might also pick a couple names from that chat as well. But, ladies and gentlemen, we got to give the sponsors of this tournament some love, because without Ting, this tournament wouldn't be possible. So, go to bttv.ting.com to learn more, get $25 in credit, but here's the TLDR. It's a US mobile phone service. They're specifically great for people who are on Wi-Fi, watching Twitch all the time. So, it might just be the service for you. Phone bills on Ting, by the way, average out to be like less than 25 bucks a month. So the idea is that this promo code will let you try a month of Ting for free. So be sure to check it out. Spawning here at the bottom left side of the map, we've got the orange Zerg player up 2-1. It's Denver.
And it's top right as the red Protoss. It is Hurricane.
Fighting back, but in a weird way, because he, I feel like, did a good job defending. Usually it's attacks that win a game, not a defense.
Yeah, he didn't fight back so much. He just, like, stood there and then took a punch. And it was, like, StarCraft actually is a really weird game. When you consider, like, how you win is technically by killing all the buildings. But everyone knows it's really just when you feel like you've lost, basically. That's why you have people that stay in way too long. And that's why you have people lift buildings. But you like compare it to a real world fight, and sometimes it really is just like one guy standing there taking a bunch of hits, and then the guy getting too tired and being like, ah, fuck it.
It's like,
GG next round.
Going down that Rocky Balboa path. What's that quote? Like, it's not about how hard you get hit or how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving.
I didn't know that was a Rocky quote, so.
Dude, that's like the most famous quote. What?
No, it's not.
Dude, yeah, it is. Oh god, I did the Okay, Adrian might be more famous, you are right. But it's like, it ain't about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. It's like the most inspirational thing ever.
I didn't really watch the Rocky movies, so
I want to pretend like I'm surprised, but I'm not.
I watch a lot of movies, man. Just not the ones that you always need to bring up. And then when I do watch something, you're like, okay, continuing on. I don't get any accolades for that.
That's fair. I definitely lean more one than the other. But Refute This in chat, perfect name by the way, says, what good is a cellular service if you're using your own Wi-Fi? But the thing is, Ting isn't really a service made for people who are looking to be watching like 10 gigabytes of data through YouTube on the bus every month. It's for if you need a cell phone, you need to text, you need to call. It's a cheap service. And frankly, I know this isn't going to be applying to all of you out there, but so far every season we've had 30 people sign up with Ting. We've so far heard no negative feedback, and it's been enough to get us 4 seasons into Ting.
Yeah, obviously it's useful for people. I actually use it, so I don't know. Nothing bad to say about it. It just fits what I do.
Thank you, Akuma D. Diablo, by the way, for gifting Semper a sub? Question mark? Semper is a great North American Terran player, for those who don't know. Yeah. Once people figured out you could, like, customize subs, man, it got trolly and harassy. Like, you could gift anybody a sub. So, like, for example, I gifted Day 9 a sub to Nathanius. Day 9 wasn't even watching Nathanius. I gifted StarCraft to Nathanius as well. Like, you can give subs to anybody, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
I know that if you guys missed it, we were actually a good chunk of us trolling Miss Magitech, having every pro-Korean gamer sub to her, and she's freaking out like, no, they're going to see the notification. Stop it, stop it.
I just feel like, hell yeah. It should be sub to me. Thanks.
Yeah. Jaedong, notice me more, senpai. Wink.
Oh, I would like a Jaedong sub.
All right, Oracle gonna come in here and gonna get driven off pretty quickly.
All right. Yeah, not too much happened in this game yet, but we finally have, I guess, like more of an important decision made. Hurricane does add on that robo and a couple more gateways, looking a bit like the first game. I mean, if he really wanted to do that build again, I think it's more power to him, because it wasn't the build, it was how he executed the attack. So if you could fix that, maybe abuse a different map, then you know, A+, go ahead. But this, because he went for a robo before his third base, doesn't mean that he is going to go for 2-base all-in and actually slaps down that third base just now.
I feel like you did a great job summarizing what StarCraft is to all the free-to-play players joining in for the first time. It's not always about your build, it's how you use it. So it's great, you went for 400 Marines, but if you move commanded them instead of A-move them, you're going to have a bad time.
Oh, I mean, you can get to, like, Diamond at least just A-moving a bunch of Marines. It's not even splitting if your macros get enough.
Also, thank you, Reach Pat, excuse me, for the 200 bits. Also, I believe, murders the bit boss in the process of doing that and becomes the king. Oh, Hydra Den coming down. Okay, so we're not going to see anything too rash out of Denver. I was kind of curious where that layer tech was going, but Hydras have worked fine. Still good units. Yeah. Core composition for Zerg really didn't change with the patch.
No, it did not. As Colossus have made its way back in, and Force Fields in general made their way back in, it feels almost like it is two things, right? It's the new patch, Colossus being a bit cheaper because the Xen Thermal Lance is cheaper, and better. Sword Prism has a little bit of damage. Plus, this seemed like an inevitable thing anyways. People were already experimenting with Colossus before the patch because Baneling Hydra was becoming a problem. And I wonder, since, you know, maybe Colossus do really make it back into this game, Average Ravager all-ins will become a thing. And that's actually how Denver started off this game, or Abyssal Reef game anyways.
That's where the question of Colossus get weird for me, though. The change to actually make them have bonus versus light, so they're more effective against Hydras, but like way less effective against Roaches. Makes it, or even Ravagers, because Ravagers are neither light nor armored. It really does make me question where their role will be, but we'll see that settle as time goes on, I suppose. Because it's not like Zerg have like, oh no, I can't go Hydras, what do I do? Well, okay, you go Spire Play, and that's actually what we see Denver hopping into.
Yeah. Well, the Spire's not going to be that useful for, like, dealing with Colossus, because there just aren't Colossus on the way. The Overseer gets to the main base and sees almost everything, and hopefully if that was like a premonition for Colossus to get Corruptors. He's going to change his mind and just get a couple of mutas.
Did the high ground smoke really just save that Oracle? It did.
Yeah.
Kind of forgot there was
really
a smoke
annoying.
there.
It's really annoying smoke. Super duper annoying.
Well,
Anyways.
smoking normally kills, but in that case, it saved a life.
That's a good point.
And before we're sponsored by
Robotics-
Marlboro or something.
Yeah. Robotics Bay does finally come down, but I mean, there's like a lot of gateways being used to make Mass Blink Stalker, and there's already a couple of Immortals too, so it's not about the Colossus yet. Denver didn't use the Spire yet, which actually, looking at it, I guess I like more. A couple mutas to clean up War Prisms to finally tag that Oracle. Could be good, but waiting to build Corruptors when you see those Colossus could be better.
Well, he's definitely thinking about it at some point, regardless of what it's going to be for. His weapon upgrades are actually being researched already. But War Prism definitely needs to be dealt with first and foremost. Hydras are up here, I guess, waiting to catch it when it retreats, but frankly, they need to be here defending the drones. Meanwhile, looks like some Lings get into the mineral line, but they're not going to pick up much. The Stalkers and everything defend, and of course, the Shield Battery keeps things from dying. Shield Battery is the sickest, you can't harass me with a small amount of units building ever. I've been really sarcastic in terms of like saying it's cool, but there is some genuine cool use to it in that regard. Like, no longer will 4 Zerglings cut it. You're gonna need a lot more than that to actually cause damage when there's a shield battery there.
So the Colossus really isn't the emphasis of this push. There's just so many Stalkers that'll have +2. Only one Colossus. Gotta be careful not to overmake the Corruptors, but they'll also help take out that War Prism.
But this is where it gets really interesting too, because Stalkers are now going to be better. Like, typically what we've seen in the past with Corruptors is they either just kind of move in there or they hit and run. And if they hit and run, that's where the Stalkers are even better, because the Stalkers are going to have more power through their longer cooldown, but again, burstier attack. 23 damage a shot versus armored.
It's a lot more difficult in multiple matchups, I suppose. Against Vikings or against Corruptors, the Stalkers just really tear them down.
Yeah, we haven't really given credit to this, but I gotta shout out Denver's creep spread right now. It's looking fan-flippin-tastic going down through the middle, the top, and even the bottom side of the map where he's expanding. Map control might not be here through Overlords, but he's gonna have it through through creep at this rate. The Corruptors sneak around the side. It looks like they're gonna Caustic Spray the Nexus. This is an interesting base snipe because the Stalkers are way out of position to stop this.
Yeah, really nicely done by Denver. You can,
Oh my God,
you
so
could
you
try
get
and, yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, you can try and repair it with Shield Battery, but the Corruptors just do too much damage anyways. It'd be useless.
I think you might have actually saved that if you had shield battery it. For those who don't know, real quick here, you actually have to manually target with a shield battery. You can't just auto do it, or maybe that was going because it's low in energy.
I don't think he could have saved it, but he could have maybe gotten 1 or 2 more Corruptors for it.
That's very true. Also, shout out to the proud alum. Guy comes in with 300 bits, stabs the boss very quickly, says, have a great day. Does like such a creepy assassin thing to do. It's like sneak up behind somebody, slit their throat. All right, y'all, have a great day now. See you later.
Hurricane keeps doing this, like, I'm gonna attack? No. I'm gonna attack? No. Like, he puts his army in the middle of the map and then decides he doesn't want to actually do anything.
I just realized, through that Nexus snipe, by the way, he got massively supply blocked. This is a big problem. Storms aren't out. The army supply's not here. Right now, timing's favor Denver if he can get in there and find a good attack.
Yeah, I guess he could have just recalled to the Nexus. Well, recall actually takes a while, so I don't know about that.
No, recall worked actually, I think, a lot better than what he did. That's actually a good point. I keep forgetting. Yeah, Nexus has recall now, guys. But
yeah, it takes so long on the initial recall to actually
so
transport
many
it
banelings.
fast.
Dude, this is like rogue level up banelings sitting here on 40.
I don't know if he's going to get that good of a concave. There's one sentry full of force fields, but really just the one. The other ones have to sit back for a little while longer.
These banelings are going to be even harder to use now. One of the big things about this fight for timing that I was kind of yammering about is the fact that the army slow is low, but Storm wasn't done. Now there's going to be 2 types of AoE he's got to run through. Combination Colossus Blast, combination Storms, and then, hell, even an Archon shot or 2. Well, this isn't going to get it done. Say goodnight.
Yeah, it's going to die. Actually, he tries to give up on it, but that doesn't help either. It did draw the entire army away, so finally Hurricane maxed out, pushes through the middle of the map. He's only got 2 Colossus, but those storms are pocketed and looking very dangerous. Ooh.
Oh, I like the hallucinations a lot. This is going to waste a lot of shots on the Corruptus here potentially, and they don't have that many. Again, Stalkers burst down so much better than they ever have in the past, so you can't waste a single shot. While this goes on, too, it might set up for attacks on both sides. We got an attack into the 4th base of the north while this goes on. We're going to watch the main fight for now, though. Storms hit most of the banelings!
But the Banelings hit all of the storms. They came in from the right side and killed every single High Templar. Only Stalkers left over. Lings are counterattacking, killing a bunch of probes.
I think
Hurricane just lost. He just lost.
Look at the supply. Half the supply. And this wasn't even Broodlords. This was the... Oh, this is game. There's no recovery from this. Hurricane has lost his mining base. He's got no army to work with. I mean, this was costly. The Banelings were expensive and the Corruptors weren't cheap, but like this still worked out so good for Denver. That was an attack that was maybe even going to cost him his life if that was handled better.
The Banelings coming in from the right side, which is absolutely crucial. There weren't enough force fields, or he just didn't notice they're coming from the right side. That
was a point I was going to try and make, but the fight started off too soon. I think this is the worst possible spot you can take a fight because there's 4 different ways for Zerg to get in here on top of your army. Like, this looks like it's closed off and choked off, but that's not the case. This might as well be a big open field.
Yeah, it's also it's literally the difference of having the High Templars on the left side of your for that fight and the right side. The left side wasn't being attacked by Banelings, so it was just a perfect combination of events there, and well, storms were definitely necessary.
We got a big bit boss coming in, by the way, with Brian throwing in 1,497 bits. Also, this guy is he's been doing murmurs and talks about a 2v2 that we were gonna do this month, got pushed off. But he's reached out to me and said we're looking at December now too. So everyone give Carefree Rogue some love and chat if you want to see some 2v2 action here on the channel.
Awesome. Well, Hurricane, despite going down to half the supply, has built up another army, but is this going to work any better? I don't think so. Even though the Broodlords aren't quite done, the rest of the army from Denver should be able to take care of this.
That Archon goes down immediately. This is... I think even with perfect storm's not going to be enough, because the follow-up to this is Broodlords. Like, the fear might be, oh no, the Hydras, I finally shoot through those, and then it's going to be son of a gun as Broodlords.
Yeah.
He's got upgrades for them too. With +2 melee, this is going to make these Broodlings really powerful. Who needs Zerglings when you got free Broodlings? Stalkers blink in. It might kill 1 or 2 of the Broodlords, but that's going to trigger the Lings and the Hydras to get in here with Blink on cooldown. He concaves. He kills. GG. Denver takes the series 3-1 and knocks Hurricane down to the losers match.
Alrighty, Roo.
That is really cool. Foreigner hype, guys. Already happening here in the round of 16. I can't wait to see what the round of 8 looks like, because that's when it's really going to start mixing and matching. But it's going to be the losers match first. So we're going to follow Hurricane to go fight for Xanster. Denver, go make a new account while we do this, please. Hurricane versus Xanster. I think if Denver could do this, I've got faith in Xanster. I've always held Xanster to high regard. We'll see how this goes. Maybe Hurricane has recognized his mistakes. I will just apologize to the Koreans too, because like it's late over there. It's like 2 a.m. something like that. But there's not a lot of good times you can mix and match Europe and Korea. So this was kind of the best of you guys. Europe got to wake up early. You guys, Korea, got to stay up late. Try and find a mix of the two.
Wake up early. It's like 5 p.m.
Oh, that's true. You're right, actually. So never mind. We're just showing Europe bias. Get wrecked, Koreans. But hey, before we go to break, I want to quickly take a look and see who's tuning in from where today, because I know we got that front page, so right off the bat, it's going to be US is #1. I'm not even going to... Yeah, oh my god, it's ridiculous. US is #1 by like 35%. But underneath that, we got UK showing up in Force Hit. Yo, to the British people tuning in, I'm not sure what's been going on, but we've been seeing UK in that #2 and #3 spot more than we've ever seen in the last year. So shout out to anybody tuning in for the UK. Underneath that would be Germany. Then Canada, eh? I can't do any other accents. So Sweden, Denmark, South Korea, Finland, Norway, and then the Czech Republic is beating out France? What? Well, regardless of where you guys are tuning in from, thank you very much for joining us here this morning. We're going to go to some again, it's between series. We got to play some sponsored content from Ting. They're good people. They got good ads. They're not abusive. They're not loud. And frankly, I think Kyra's is super duper cutie, so I'm glad she's the one reading off the script there. But do us a favor before we go to this break. Before you disappear because you're like, I hate ads. First, hit the follow button on the channel if you haven't. We're getting close. We're so close to that 100K number, guys. We're at 98,200 followers. So please hit follow. It's free. And it gets us towards this really cool milestone. Secondly, if you're willing to dig deep enough to it, subs are always appreciated. Donations are always appreciated. But I'm here to actually talk about sub gifting because I want to gift subs away. I love this feature, and while it's new and it's hype, I want to use it to its fullest. So we've already picked one person to give a sub gift to. I'm going to pick more, and of course, if you write in the Discord, your chance of getting a sub gift, even when you're not here, increases greatly. So !! Sub gift in chat. And even if it's not me, hopefully other generous souls will be willing to give subs as well. I know this was actually discussed earlier. It'd be a lot easier to ask for like a $5 donation. Well, we'd make more money from it and blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, I love subscribing. You get more benefits. I feel like we're giving back more this way too. You get emotes, you get replay packs. And frankly, I want to eventually unlock a new sub emoticon too, so more subs makes that happen. But we'll see you guys after this sponsored content. This is Ting talking about their rates.